Welcome to the Enchanted chapter, Orkino and the Lost Helmet. Deep within the heart of the Emeraldwood Forest, where the trees whispered old secrets and moss clung to ancient stones, lived a young orc named Orkino. But Orkino wasn't like the other orcs. He wasn't big, he wasn't loud, and he certainly wasn't scary. He was small, round-cheeked, full of wonder, and always curious. More than anything, Orkino dreamed of becoming a hero. He wasn't quite sure how heroes were made. Did you need a sword, a shiny helmet, or just a really great story to begin with? Every morning he pulled on his red tunic, tightened his belt, and struck his best hero pose in front of a puddle he used as a mirror. His tiny pet squirrel, Bristle, would squeak from the side as if to say, "Looking sharp." One crisp morning, as golden light filtered through the leaves, Orkino spotted something unusual lying in the grass, something shiny, something silver. He rushed over and gasped. A helmet, not a toy, not a wooden play piece, a real knight's helmet, polished and proud, with a plume of red feathers bursting from the top like a flame. "Where did you come from?" he whispered, brushing the leaves away with care. Bristle sniffed at it curiously. Orkino couldn't resist. He lifted the helmet with both hands and placed it on his head. It was far too big. It slid right down over his eyes. But for a moment, just a moment, he felt unstoppable. "I am Sir Orkino the Brave," he declared, voice echoing inside the metal chamber. But before Bristle could even squeak a response, a strong gust of wind swept across the clearing. With a loud whoosh, the helmet flew off Orkino's head, bounced across the ground, and tumbled into the woods. "No, wait!" he cried, darting after it. He leapt over roots, dodged brambles, and chased the helmet as it clattered down a muddy slope. At the bottom, it disappeared into a shadowy ravine. Orkino skidded to a stop at the edge. It looked deep and dark, and definitely not on any map he knew. Most orcs wouldn't have gone a step further, but Orkino wasn't most orcs. He took a breath, tightened his belt, and climbed down. At the bottom, everything was cooler. Still, the air smelled of stone and soil. As he took a cautious step forward, something caught his eye beneath a tangle of roots. A worn path, made of cobblestone, old and broken with age. He brushed away the moss and found a symbol etched in the stone, a sword crossed with a crown. Orkino's heart jumped. "Knight's Trail," he whispered. "It's real." He'd heard the legends, a secret path leading to the lost ruins of Castle Bravemarch, where noble knights once trained. Could this helmet have come from there? Could this be the beginning of his story? Without waiting another second, he followed the path, Bristle trotting close behind. As the forest deepened and shadows lengthened, they came upon a strange bridge made of bones. Animal bones, Orkino hoped. Perched on a stone nearby sat a giant warty toad with a monocle, eyeing him seriously. "Who dares cross Crockley's bridge?" the toad boomed. Orkino blinked. Me?" Crockley raised one brow. "Not without a riddle." Orkino swallowed. The toad leaned forward. "What has a head and a tail, but no body?" Orkino thought. Hard. He pictured worms, lizards, snakes. Then his face lit up. "A coin!" Crockley narrowed his eyes, then, with a grumble, stepped aside. "Humph, lucky guess." The bridge groaned under Orkino's feet, but he made it across safely. Onward he went, until he reached a grove unlike any other. The trees had silver-tipped leaves and bark as smooth as stone. The very air shimmered. He had entered the whispering willows. Legend said the wind here carried the voices of ancient heroes. As a breeze stirred the leaves, soft words floated through the grove, gentle, echoing, mysterious. Find the one who wears no crown, yet leads with heart. Orkino shivered. He didn't know what the words meant, not yet. But deep in his chest, he felt something stir, and he knew one thing for certain. He wasn't turning back. The path grew narrower, the trees stretched taller. Every step Orkino took echoed softly beneath his boots, as if the stones themselves remembered the knights who once marched there. Bristle clung gently to his shoulder, whiskers twitching, and then, just beyond a thick curtain of ivy, Orkino saw it, a clearing, bathed in pale green light, quiet as a held breath. And there, right in the center, stood the ruins of a once great castle, Castle Bravemarch. Its towers were broken, its walls cracked and leaning, but even in ruin, it felt proud, timeless, and resting on a weathered stone pedestal, like a crown upon a throne, was the helmet, the same one that had blown from Orkino's head. He took a step forward, but before he could reach it, something stirred. From beneath a shattered arch, a figure emerged. It was tall, taller than any creature Orkino had ever seen. Its body was woven from bark and roots, wrapped in vines and moss. Its face shimmered like mist, its eyes glowing faintly gold. The guardian of the helm. The figure spoke, not loud, not harsh, but deep, ancient, like wind through the hollows of old trees. "You are not a knight," it said. "Why do you seek the helm?" Orkino's knees felt shaky, but he stood straight and tried to steady his voice. "I didn't come to steal it," he said. "I found it in the forest. I chased it here. I just wanted to give it back. And maybe learn why it found me." The guardian watched him in silence. Then gently it asked, "Why did you follow it so far?" Orkino blinked. Why? He thought of the clearing, the bridge of bones, Crocley's riddle, the whispering wind. He looked down at his hands, small, scratched, a little muddy, and said quietly, "Because I want to be brave. Not because I have armor or a sword or a title, but because I kept going even when I was scared. I listened to the wind. I followed the truth." The forest was silent. Then the guardian spoke, softer this time. "Bravery is not shouted. It does not shine like gold. True bravery leads with heart." And with those words, the light around the helmet began to glow. Orkino stepped closer. He reached out, slowly, reverently, and lifted the helmet from the pedestal. It felt different now, warmer, lighter, not because it had changed, but because he had. He didn't place it on his head this time. He held it to his chest and smiled. Bristles squeaked and leapt in a joyful circle. The guardian faded, becoming one with the mist and moss, and the ruins around them felt somehow less broken. Orkino turned and began the journey home, up the path, over the creaking bone bridge, where Crocley gave him a slow, approving nod, past the silver-leaved trees where the wind now whispered his name. When they reached the top of the ravine, the sky had begun to turn orange and gold. Back in his forest clearing, Orkino placed the helmet gently on a tree stump, its new resting place, safe and proud. He looked at it for a long moment, and though he still didn't have a sword or a title or shining armor, he had something even better, a story of his own, a real one, And in time, that story spread, first among the squirrels, then the birds, then the children of the forest. They said the little orc named Orkino had chased a helmet and found a legend. They said a hero didn't need a crown, only a heart brave enough to follow the wind. This chapter ends, but the story continues. Subscribe for more enchanted tales.